I'm Sarah Lyons, NCSC Deputy Director with responsibility for economy and society resilience. Thank you for joining us for this panel discussion on building communities in cybersecurity. We often hear that cybersecurity is a team sport reliant on a diversity of skills, thinking and approaches. As a national security issue, the scope and scale of the cybersecurity challenge is too for any single organisation to tackle alone. So in this session, we're going to look at what this means for building the UK's cyber resilience, seen through the lens of the economic sectors with whom the NCSC works in partnership. I'm delighted to be joined today by a fabulous panel who represent the different ways we try to build communities to collaborate on building our national cyber resilience. Of course, we in NCSC are part of this team and provide various services, schemes and platforms that are designed to help develop cybersecurity communities in the UK. Services like CISP, our cyber intelligence sharing platform, which enables a huge number of the UK cybersecurity community to come together to share threat intelligence and comment securely with other community members. NCSC also convenes industry meetings called information exchanges and trust groups that serve a broad range of critical national infrastructure and economic sectors respectively. Today, Rachel Lawson, Chief Information Security Officer at Marks & Spencer and a key member of our retail trust group, is here to offer some insight into the work this group has done to improve cyber resilience in the retail sector. Of course, not all cybersecurity challenges are sector-based. There's a vital role for cross-cutting technology-focused communities in tackling some of cybersecurity's biggest challenges. A good example is our efforts to improve the cyber resilience of operational technology, which plays such a critical role, underpinning so many important industry sectors and so much of our everyday lives. So we bring together the Industrial Control Systems ICS community, a large group of operational technology and industrial control system specialists from across industry, academia and government. This group is represented here today by their ICS Community Chair, Airbus Chief Information Security Officer, Kevin Jones. Kevin will describe the programme of work underway that has a positive impact on cyber resilience across a whole range of sectors. And we have the NCSC's Industry 100 scheme, where experts from industry join us on a more formal and regular basis as secondees, dedicating some of their time each month to share expertise and challenge thinking. Today we have John Seger, Chief Information Security Officer at Linklaters law firm, who has supported my team as an Industry 100 secondee. John, we've been working together a few years now. Please, could you kick us off by talking through the work you and your Industry 100 colleagues have undertaken to improve cyber resilience in the legal sector?
Thank you. So my name is John Seger. I am Head of Information Security at Linklaters. Linklaters is a large law firm, so we're headquartered in the UK, but we've got 31 offices in 21 countries around the world with around 5,500 staff. So on the theme of communities, I'm going to talk a bit about Industry 100 or I100 and what we've been doing within the legal sector. I100 is about NCSC engaging and collaborating with industry and bringing together the public and private sector. One of the challenges that we have when we look at the legal sector is the broad range in the size of the organisations. So at one end of the scale, we've got global organisations with maybe over 10,000 staff versus sole practitioners and really small high street firms at the other end of the scale. Now, if we think about the threats that affect our sector, nation state level threats, they do exist. They're probably more targeted towards those larger firms that are carrying out the huge deals. But all firms of all sizes are subject to attempted scams, particularly financially motivated, regardless of their size. You think about it, moving money around for deals, taking payment from clients, paying third-party suppliers, all of those things are going on. And so if a scammer is able to get in the mix there and insert themselves in that process, then they could potentially make a lot of money. And of course, if we add to the mix the fact that there's a lot of sensitive information that law firms are dealing with, then clearly law firms are an attractive target. Our sector also includes regulators such as the SRA, which is the Solicitors Regulation Authority, and professional bodies such as the Law Society and Bar Council. Information security teams in legal tend to be relatively small, even in the big companies, and often non-existent in the very small firms. So all of these are things that we need to consider when we're working with the legal sector. It is, though, quite a collaborative sector. So we've had a long-established peer group among law firms, been working together for years. And so when the NCSC wanted to engage with our sector, we were able to take a subset of that peer group that we already had established and work with them. We agreed quite early on that the standard Industry 100 format of taking people and embedding secondees into NCSC was going to be difficult for us. It'd be difficult for us to resource primarily. So instead of doing that, we established a group that meets regularly. And now we have 7 people in the I100 team, and we've got that bigger pool of expertise that we can draw on if we need to, as well from our peer forum. We've already been involved in a number of initiatives, and not all of them have been targeted specifically to the legal sector. There's a selection of them shown on this slide at the moment. Our work so far has included creating a report to help law firms understand the threats. We've run also a few events, both in person and online, where we provided some practical advice in areas of focus. The most recent one of those was actually targeted at those small organisations, so particularly those with less dedicated resource for information security. Overall, our focus is about understanding the challenges that the legal sector faces and working with the NCSC to help shape what is offered to them. So this here is our most recent example of something we've been working on within our legal sector Industry 100 team. Barristers' chambers have been targeted recently with ransomware. There have been a number of incidents that have made the news. And law firms work with barristers, and actually barristers can be considered part of the law firm supply chain. So the relationship with NCSC was leveraged to include the Industry 100 members to support an initiative by the Law Society to help those chambers develop their standards and communication. The collaboration came to fruition in March when a questionnaire was released, and we made it available on the Law Society and Bar Council websites. The idea is that those chambers can complete this questionnaire in preparation for them being asked those difficult supply chain questions by the law firms. And what it should do is help them to identify any gaps that they might have in areas that they need to focus on. And this collaboration is really starting to come into its own now. So we've been talking and been thinking about things, and future legal events or legal sector events that we have within Industry 100 will now include both the Bar Council and chambers, so we'll be more involved with those directly. So we're really starting to now leverage those relationships. So in summary, the overall message is that for us, we're seeing that Industry 100 is delivering some real results for our sector. And it now really feels like we're achieving the aim of bringing the public and private sector together.
Thanks, John. That's a really good point to turn to Kevin and ask him, in contrast to the Industry 100 legal team, Kevin, the ICS community is huge with, I think, over 400 members. How do you engender that sense of community across such a large group? And how do you ensure that everyone has a voice and an opportunity to make a meaningful contribution?
I'm here to represent the NCSC Industrial Control System Community of Interest, which has been running now for about 5 years. The principal aim for the Industrial Control System Community of Interest is actually just that, is to provide a community for ICS expertise across the UK to have a voice, to share knowledge and to come together on a regular basis to exchange for the benefit of the UK. Specifically, you would expect industrial control systems to be used in critical national infrastructure, for example, water, transport systems, electricity generation or distribution. But it goes beyond just that. In fact, our members come from a wide variety of industry sectors, including manufacturing, medical devices, transport, logistics. So the community is really, really important for us to be able to bridge the gap to what has historically existed for protection of industrial control systems and the cybersecurity community ultimately. It's a very successful community, having grown now to nearly 500 members, with the objectives to bring those members together on a regular basis, to share knowledge about what is best practice and how it is applied across those industry verticals. It gathers requirements from operators or members that can then be used to write guidance or to understand how other sectors can deploy these tools, or even for the development of some new technologies that can help in the industrial control system space. We have regular events with a quarterly virtual meeting and, pre-COVID at least, an annual face-to-face gathering of the community. In addition to that, we have 7 expert groups for topics that really require deep dive understanding, working together to come up with best practice and guidance. So, for example, those groups cover things such as security monitoring and logging, security risk assessment in industrial control systems, or security incident response. One of the really unique things about the industrial community of interest is, yes, it very heavily involves NCSC and government, but it really works across a triad of government, industry, which is why I'm the industry chair of this group. We have a lot of representatives from different communities, different sectors, and different industries, including consultants, but also from academia. So there are research institutes such as RITICS, which also learns what are the requirements and what are the challenges that are being faced right now by the industrial control system community that can lead to future research trends from academics. And that academic kind of leading knowledge can also be fed back into the COI. There are another unique things about the COI. So it's not replicating what already exists within the information exchanges. So for sector-specific activity, there are trusted groups called information exchanges for things like civil nuclear, rail, water, and mostly around the critical national infrastructure. But this group is much broader than that, and people are individual members. So it's not their job title or the company that they represent that brings them to this community. They have to apply to be a member, go through the membership process to say that they do have some knowledge that they can bring to the community. But it's individuals that really make this work and make this happen. There is a steering group, which I'm very proud to be part of, from a select number of industry members that will then be able to steer the events or steer the best practice and knowledge, and to really push NCSC for guidance or best practice, for example. Within those groups, though, we do bring together other communities and other sectors to be able to do talks in terms of what is one sector doing that another might be able to learn from. And as a very proud member of the aerospace sector, who also engages widely in collaboration, information sharing, knowledge sharing, to better protect ourselves as an industry, I was very pleased to be able to bring the Aviation ISAC, the Information Sharing Association for the Aviation Industry, to an ITS community presentation just a few months ago that was really well received by our members, to learn how really cybersecurity information sharing is a good thing to do. There's no competitive advantage to be gained from cyber. We're all in the same situation, and even within industries, we will share things like that. So this community is still continuing to grow. It's still continuing to develop. It has seen quite a large success in terms of the outputs that have come from that community, the knowledge that has been shared to help companies and specific sectors to work in those trusted environments, to secure themselves better, and to really drive the UK. And that's a really important point in itself. We want the UK to be seen as a leading country across the world for sectors like this and for initiatives like this in cybersecurity. So we also share what we're doing and have transnational relations, if you like, with other information sharing partnerships around industrial control systems. So a couple of years ago, we had from the US, the ICS ISAC came and spoke at the event and was very pleased about what we're doing. So initiatives like this that are really NCSC, industry and academia together have already proven valuable. And I know the ICS community of interest will continue for many years to come to really help companies protect what has historically been a not as popular area to protect as, for example, IT infrastructures, and has some very unique challenges as well. And really pleased the community can help companies to do that.
Thanks, Kevin. Rachel, in contrast to the ICS community, the Retail Trust Group is one of our smaller groups. Could you talk us through the dynamics of that group and how a smaller group has been able to affect positive change for the wider retail sector?
Hello, my name is Rachel Larson and I'm the CISO for Marks & Spencer and a member of the Retail Trust Group. I'm here to talk to you about the role of the Trust Group and what that means to my peer group and the sector as a whole, and also the broader ecosystem in addressing the resilience to threat. For a number of years, the NCSC, the British Retail Consortium, and a number of retail CISOs have worked together to help us learn and evolve our practices to gain more in-depth understanding of our sector through different lenses, learning from each other's challenges and successes as to how we apply security within our business. We've leaned on each other, where one organisation may have more maturity, capability to help collectively grow and evolve more effectively to drive increased resilience at scale across the sector. As we've seen more businesses grow their online e-commerce presence during the pandemic, the realisation for strong cybersecurity resilience equates to strong commercial competitiveness has never been more apparent, which has evolved to our suppliers and their ecosystem to ensure they too consider their role in providing a level of maturity which previously was not considered from a cyber resilience perspective. The Trust Group co-developed with the BRC and many government bodies and retail CISOs the Cyber Resilience Toolkit, which encompassed a step-by-step practical guide to adopting a cybersecurity capability. It provided a high-level picture of the UK cybersecurity landscape and how it affects retailers, an introduction to the role of government and police in the UK cybersecurity, advice and best practice on how to strengthen protection against cybersecurity incidents, specific guidance for retailers on how to set up and handle incidents such as data breaches, checklists of key questions for boards and communication teams, options for retailers on how to work with customers to improve cyber resilience. As a trust group with BRC and NCSC, we've run workshops based on NCSC's Exercise in a Box service to help retail organisations outside the trust group to understand more about their organisational preparedness and resilience to cyber attacks. The workshop leveraged the service, covering the fundamentals of cyber exercising to help you find out how resilient your organisation is to a cyber attack and practice response to critical cyber incidents in a safe environment, whilst discussing this collaboratively as a sector in a workshop, allowing attendees to create their own summary reports for their organisation from their exercise, which may help them identify and improve ways of managing cyber security threats whilst engaged in a trusted community. As many retail organisations prepare for seasonal peak training, the NCSC have provided timely cyber-aware campaigns to support the retailer and our customer base to understand the risks of how to protect themselves from cyber crimes, namely communication campaigns attributed to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, informing the public to choose carefully where they shop, to use a credit card online for payments, only provide enough details to complete your purchase, and how to keep your account secure. Watch out for suspicious emails, text messages and websites, and what to do if things go wrong. Building on the trust, share and learn culture, we shared our experiences on topic subjects such as securing cyber insurance and the consideration around risk transfer. I've been fortunate to have the support of the NCSC through the Trust Group with engagement with our board members to act as a trusted independent advisor to help shape the board's view. As a whole, we've seen the threat levels rise over recent months, and as a sector we have come to rely on the guidance and the validation of timely advisories from the NCSC to help underpin the importance of necessary action and share as a trust group how we are facing into these rising tides and learning how to effectively drive and report progress and understand where some have experienced some level of impact. As a collective in the trust group, we have seen many of our shared supply base hit by cyber attacks, ransomware attacks over recent months, resulting in impact to business continuity. We've actively reached out to the suppliers to support them in recovering from cyber attacks and helped engage NCSC where appropriate and supported them in building out their cyber transformation plan, where perhaps they haven't been afforded the necessary budget, resource profiles to address the risk. On the back of this, we have collectively made a commitment to work with our third parties and supply base to proactively help them become more resilient, be it through linking them up with Cyber Essentials or driving more collaboration in helping the more mature organisations evolve by providing subject matter expertise. Cyber Essentials being a government-backed scheme helping organisations, whatever its size, protect against a whole range of most common cyber attacks. Having been a member of the Retail Trust Group for over 3 years, I feel very fortunate to have been welcomed and supported when joining a new sector to help me expand my knowledge and learning far more rapidly through the group and specific to the sector. Whilst as a sector we evolve ourselves from a footprint that's driving more digitally online.
Thank you so much to Kevin, to Rachel and to John. I hope you'll agree it's given a real flavour of our shared endeavour and strong partnerships. Certainly I have seen firsthand the value of the communities which we have built together. They go well beyond transactional engagement into a real depth of understanding and appreciation. From our perspective in NCSC, this is invaluable in shaping the things that we do and the ways we seek to support the economic sectors of the UK in building our cyber resilience. Thank you for joining us here today, and thank you for your role in shaping and nurturing these vital communities as we all work together to strive to make the UK the safest place to live and work online.